As most of you know, Amy and I have been together for just over 12 years, and I'm sorry that it took me so long to get down on one knee. I didn't want to rush into anything. I wanted to be sure. So, although saying that, a few months after we moved in together, we decided to get a dog, which in hindsight was quite a big commitment to each other early doors. And Travis sends his apologies for not being able to be here today. Now, I know you'll find this hard to believe, but Amy's responsible for a good 98% of what you see here today. And quite how you manage that whilst also working every hour under the sun is phenomenal. And you also saved a bit of brain space to assign me tasks and remember to chase me on them when I didn't hit the deadlines. So, well done. Well done. But you always astound me with your relentless drive, desire and determination that goes into every single thing you do. And you always do it whilst remaining composed and keeping a cool head.
It's wonderful to see Amy and James' time not at last. I recall years ago, you might recall this, I don't know if you probably will actually, on a rather boozy night out in Newcastle, towards the end of the night, James asked me if it'd be okay if you could ask Amy out. And I remember thinking to myself, Christ, I thought I'd drunk a lot. Still, it's a relationship that certainly stood the test of time. And despite the two of them seemingly being the polar opposite personalities to each other, I mean, Amy being, well, you know, Amy. And James is so chilled out, you've got to break your prod to make sure he's not sleeping half the time. Well, they say that opposites attract, and clearly this is evidence of that.
So, as Paul says, sadly, Dad can't be here to celebrate with us today. Amy stole the thunder of my first story. So I'm told that when she was 16, Dad offered her £500 to elope rather than face an expensive wedding later in life. I was just thinking about it now, thinking about Dad, it probably was £250, wasn't it? Maybe that's inflation. Clearly, Amy didn't always take his advice and thankfully waited for the right person. Dad would have been wondering what Pepper Arden has to offer that the Pheasant Inn in Harnby doesn't, and at a fraction of the cost.
I want to take you way back and tell you a little story about our first date. Told you to wait for it, didn't I? So James took me out for dinner. And when I say James took me out for dinner, that's about right because James was too hungover to eat anything. Weren't you?
Well.
What I've written here is he say he wasn't. He was.
Probably my fault.
He was there for actually. So you'd like to hope that was the worst display of behaviour on display that night, but unfortunately, I also managed to eat both our dinners in his place. So maybe we should have known early doors that we were a perfect pairing. Anyway, despite this poor showing, James asked me out again. I don't know why. And it took a great deal of effort, not for me to be a little bit concerned, when he chose to take us out to the gym. Smooth. I mean, most concerningly of all, I agreed. So, thank God I did, because here we are today. Despite your terrible dating style, despite your inability to carry a hangover, I am absolutely delighted to be here today. Life has been, over the last 12 years, has thrown challenges at us, it's thrown losses at us, and we've done it all standing side by side. You are endlessly kind, generous in spirit, and supportive to me, and I'm delighted to be here with you today.
So, who is James Martin? James is a lad that was born in Ormskirk. He claims it's not in Liverpool, but if you Google it, you can clearly see it is. He will never admit it, but I believe he secretly supported Liverpool in his baby days.
I remember when Amy and I were travelling across the deep south of the United States together, and Louisiana locals were distraught that Amy was not yet married at the tender age of 25. And they were looking at her trying to figure out what was wrong. As it happened, Amy met her future husband shortly after this trip. They would have been horrified to learn that it took James another 12 years to pop the question.
I wish love was an easy song to write, 'cause I'd have pages worth of words that were not lies. Your name would be the melody that's on my tongue. Oh, if love was a simple song. There are no words have been written or been sung that my ears have heard, or I've cheapened with my tongue, to hold the weight of this thing that we call love. Oh, love's not a simple song, but my songs for you. Though not pretty or poetic, I hope you know it's true. I'm not perfect in my ways, and I let you down most days. But no, it's true, that darling, I love you.
We are gathered here to witness the joining in matrimony of James Michael Martin and Amy Jane Littleton.
I do solemnly declare
That I know not
that I know not
of any lawful impediment
of any lawful impediment
why I, James Michael Martin,
why I, James Michael Martin,
may not be joined in matrimony
may not be joined in matrimony
to Amy Jane Littleton.
to Amy Jane Littleton.
And Amy, please repeat after me. I do solemnly declare
I do solemnly declare
that I know not
that I know not
of any lawful impediment
of any lawful impediment
why I, Amy Jane Littleton,
why I, Amy Jane Littleton,
may not be joined in matrimony
may not be joined in matrimony
to James Michael Martin.
to James Michael Martin.
James and Amy wish to marry, for in each other's company they have found fulfillment and love. As a consequence of this love, they have drawn closer to each other and now wish to affirm publicly their relationship and to offer to each other the security that comes from vows sincerely made and faithfully kept.
You know when I said I knew little about love? That wasn't true. I know a lot about love. I've seen it, centuries and centuries of it, and it was the only thing that made watching your world bearable. All those wars, pain, lies, hate, it made me want to turn away and never look down again. But when I see the way that mankind loves, you could search to the furthest reaches of the universe and never find anything more beautiful. So yes, I know that love is unconditional, but I also know that it can be unpredictable, unexpected, uncontrollable, unbearable, and strangely easy to mistake for loathing. What I'm trying to say is, I think I love you. Is this love? I never imagined I'd know it for myself. My heart feels like my chest can barely contain it, like it's trying to escape because it doesn't belong to me anymore. It belongs to you, and if you wanted it, I'd wish for nothing in exchange, no gifts, no goods, no demonstrations of devotion, nothing but knowing you loved me too. Just your heart in exchange for mine.
I, James Michael Martin,
I, James Michael Martin,
take you, Amy Jane Littleton,
take you, Amy Jane Littleton,
to be my wedded wife.
to be my wedded wife.
I promise to love you tenderly,
I promise to love you tenderly,
to cherish and respect you,
to cherish and respect you,
to comfort you with my gentleness,
to comfort you with my gentleness,
and support you with my strength.
and support you with my strength.
I promise to walk with you
I promise to walk with you
in sorrow and joy,
in sorrow and joy,
illness and age,
illness and age,
facing life together,
facing life together,
wherever it may take us.
wherever it may take us.
I promise to live together
I promise to live together
in love and harmony,
in love and harmony,
to cherish and care for you,
to cherish and care for you,
whatever the future may bring.
whatever the future may bring.
Word perfect, well done, Jude. Please repeat after me. I, Amy Jane Littleton,
I, Amy Jane Littleton,
take you, James Michael Martin,
take you, James Michael Martin,
to be my wedded husband.
to be my wedded husband.
I promise to love you tenderly,
I promise to love you tenderly,
to cherish and respect you,
to cherish and respect you,
to comfort you with my gentleness,
to comfort you with my gentleness,
and support you with my strength.
and support you with my strength.
I promise to walk with you
I promise to walk with you
in sorrow and joy,
in sorrow and joy,
illness and age,
illness and age,
facing life together,
facing life together,
wherever it may take us.
wherever it may take us.
I promise to live together
I promise to live together
in love and harmony,
in love and harmony,
to cherish and care for you,
to cherish and care for you,
whatever the future may bring.
whatever the future may bring.
Just want to celebrate Amy and James in the way that we know best. So we just want to share with you a few things that we learned about Amy and James from their Mr. and Mrs. questions. So, she says he's got good fingernails. We won't find out until they grow.
Well, I don't know if that is true, or if it's just a pile of Travis poo.
James, she's got you, James. She's got you, James. They say their love won't pay the rent in Peckham Rye. The money's all been spent.
Well, she could always just sit on a bench and do her best impression of Dawn French.
James, he's got you, Ames. He's got you, Ames.
He's got a record of your shoe size, and she really likes your thighs.
And when she's mad, he won't frown. And when he's drunk, she'll help him round. So let them say she can't read graphs, 'cause with James, well, he can do the math.
He's marrying a Littleton today. He loves her madly in his special way.
Hey, he's got you, Ames. She's got you, James.
She's got you to make coffee.
And he's got you to cook the tea.
Don't ask him about your eye colour.
Hazel green, he isn't sure.
Don't ask about your biggest crush.
David Beckham makes him blush.
They love each other, yes they do.
That's all that matters, all that's true, yay. He's got you, Ames. She's got you, James. I've got you, babe.
So we now come to the giving of the wedding rings. This is the traditional and ancient way of sealing the contract you have made, and is the outward sign of the lifelong promises you've made to each other. So Mark, if you would offer the rings to James, and he would take Amy's ring and just place the ring to the knuckle, third finger, holds it there, that's it, and repeat after me. Amy, I give you this ring.
Amy, I give you this ring.
As a token of my love and affection.
As a token of my love and affection.
And in recognition of our shared life together.
And in recognition of our shared life together.
Please wear it with feelings of love and joy always.
Please wear it with feelings of love and joy always.
Just push the ring over the knuckle, that's perfect. And Mark, if you would give Amy James's ring. And thank you very much. You can sit down. And Amy, if you put James's ring to the knuckle and hold it there, repeat after me. James, I give you this ring.
James, I give you this ring.
As a token of my love and affection.
As a token of my love and affection.
And in recognition of our shared life together.
And in recognition of our shared life together.
Please wear it with feelings of love and joy always.
Please wear it with feelings of love and joy always.
So, perfect. That was a bit like a first dance as well as a third reading. The purpose of marriage is that you may always love, care for and support each other through all the joys and sorrows of life, and that love may be fulfilled in a relationship of permanent and continuing commitment. We trust that these things may come true for you both. You have both made the declarations prescribed by law, and you have made a solemn and binding contract with each other in the presence of your witnesses, family and friends here this morning. James and Amy, it is absolutely my privilege and my pleasure to be here today and to say that you're now lawfully married. Congratulations, you're now husband and wife. And James, you may kiss your bride.
The Ballad of Amy and James, a fairy tale romance for modern times.
Theirs is a tale of love at first sight, or it would be if you believed in that tripe. An insurance broker's, the scene of their meeting. Her face, it flushed, her heart, it was beating. Our heroine Amy had fled London smog. She was looking for someone, more prince, less frog. Office pickings were slim, most men shared her surname. But this lad, James Martin, he clearly had game. With her bold sense of fashion, her hella strong calves, he could tell that this damsel can do things by halves.
Approval was won from the two ugly misters. The first date it was set and he hoped he might kiss her. Fine dining for two at the Grand La Piazza. We really can't say what they had for their afters. Well, actually we can. They joined us at the pub. He'd been hungover. She ate all his grub. Of course we had our doubts. He was just 25, still lived with his mum on St Nicholas Drive. 22.
Didn't rhyme though, did it?
Those brows, the buff legs, the sublime fingernails. Amy swiftly declared him the finest of males.
Their very own castle was sought soon enough. It was in Monte Darlo, but it wasn't that rough. The one thing with the house that was slightly amiss was the garden complete with that awful stonefish. With beloved pup Travis Travis completing the team, this hard-rocking duo were living the dream. Until Travis ran away. Amy cried inconsolably, and little did she know she'd end up on TV. As the years they went by, only London would suffice, so our couple moved into a Peckham paradise. Dates at Kudo Four Quarters and Tolo nightclub, lots of singing karaoke in an old geezer's pub.
They both love to travel from city to shore. In Cuba they found wads of cash on the floor. New trainers were lost to Morocco's mean streets. Back to nature in Scotland they turned up the heat. Now our bride may be one of those feminist dames, but if she's ever stuck, she need only shout,
James!
I suppose you would say that he's really her rock, plus his bride, just to mention his sizable. He'll chill with a beer while she takes centre stage. Cupboard doors left wide open, soul cause a parade.
When the pandemic arrived, the pair risked going stale, so they rode out the lockdown in fair Wensleydale. Amy watched Gladiators and Drag Race on loop, while James would rather be shouting, "Mon the hoops!" So much time spent together and still happy with life. It was natural they consider being husband and wife.
Thoughts of marriage in mind, the question was popped. We've been here to witness as they've tied the knot. This wonderful day will be over too soon. Next stop is Sri Lanka on their fab honeymoon. So here's to a couple who truly kick ass.
Let's wish them the best and all raise a glass.
We once went on a team bonding trip to the lakes. James told me to steal my dad's beer, which I did. The college thought they had some right mature pupils on their hands, until they heard some loud music and thumping noises coming from the bedrooms. James claims this was the making of him. Over the last few years, we haven't seen each other as much, mainly getting together at Christmas and some special occasions. But our bond still stands strong, and we message, we laugh, and we argue. This is why Amy moved James 7 hours away to get away from him. But who can blame her? She's one lucky lady.
Firstly, on behalf of my new wife and I, I'd like to thank you all for coming and being part of our special day. It's lovely to see you all, and I know that a lot of you have travelled quite a long way to be with us today, so thank you very much. A special thank you must go to my mum and dad and Joan for all your help and support in making today possible. We both really appreciate everything you do for us, and we're extremely grateful, so thank you. I need to mention a few people who helped us greatly in the organising of the wedding. Thank you to Emma, who's made the spectacular cake you'll all be seeing a bit later on today. Thank you to Hugh, who's organised all our sound systems and the lighting, and spent most of the day yesterday here helping to set it all up and make sure that everything works so that we can have a dance later on, so thank you, Hugh. And to Tom, who made sure I arrived in style this morning by rocking up in his Dodge Challenger, so thank you very much, Tom. That brings me on to the bridesmaids. Thank you for all your help and being there for Amy through the ups and downs of wedding planning. You're all fantastic yesterday as well in helping set up and for your moral support. You all arranged a great hen do for Amy, but judging by the few pictures I've seen, the less I know about what went on in Manchester, the better. You all look fantastic today, so thank you all very much. I'll keep this one short. This is to the best man, Mark. We've known each other for almost 20 years now, but I don't want to big him up too much before I've heard his speech. I was best man for his wedding almost 10 years ago, and he got off pretty lightly.
Thought I'd wrap up with a couple of film quotes for you about love and marriage, points if you can guess the films. First one is, marriage is punishment for shoplifting in some countries. Second, and this you might recognise this one, Amy, the greatest thing you'll ever learn is just to love and to be loved in return. Yeah. And the third one is be excellent to each other.
So the highlight of many a wedding is the first dance. And I for one can't wait for this. If any of you ever witnessed Amy hitting the dance floor, you know exactly what I mean. Take cover. Stand back. And James, if you need it, right, in the car, I've got my mountain bike body armour. I think you might need it.
All day you're crying, and right back down the other side. How far will you go? With no guarantee, you know.